Hello, everyone, and happy Friday to you all. I trust that you are doing well and that you are looking forward to a warmer weekend as much as I am. If you're new to these devotionals today, we want to extend a special welcome to you, and I want to thank you all for joining me on this beautiful, beautiful Friday morning. We are up to Psalm 4 today, and so I invite you to turn in your Bibles with me to the fourth Psalm, and I invite you to hear the word of the Lord from Psalm 4. This is another Psalm of David. Answer me when I cry out to you, O my righteous God. Give me relief from my distress. Be merciful to me and hear my prayer. How long, O men, will you turn my glory into shame? How long will you love delusions and seek false gods? Know that the Lord has set apart the godly for himself. The Lord will hear when I call to him. In your anger, do not sin. When you are on your beds, search your hearts and be silent. Offer right sacrifices and trust the Lord. Many are asking, who can show us any good? Let the light of your face shine upon us, O Lord. You have filled my heart with greater joy than when their grain and new wine abound. I will lie down and sleep in peace, for you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. One of the things that I love about Psalm 4 is how strange, but how refreshing it is to hear David speak like this to God. If you only read the first couple of verses of Psalm 4, or if you only read Psalm 4 really quickly, it will seem as though David is almost being disrespectful to God. He's commanding God, answer me, give me relief, be merciful to me. And this doesn't seem like how we are often taught or modeled how to talk to God. So often our language, our conversation with God, our prayers with God are muted. They are often flowery, filtered, or shallow. Quite frankly, often our prayers and our conversation with God are fake. And I think we can all agree that there is nothing fake about what David says here in Psalm 4. David is being real with God about what he's going through. He's crying out to God in his anger and in his distress. And yet, he's doing so with authentic and genuine faith. In doing this and speaking this way, David is showing us what a healthy relationship with God looks like. And if we think about it, it makes sense. A real relationship with another human being does not involve hiding ourselves. It does not involve flowery language or fake language. No, when we have a real relationship with our spouse, with our family members, or with our friends, we are free to express what is really going on. And this is what David does. Answer me. Be merciful to me. Psalm 4 models what our conversations, our prayers with God should look like. Yes, we are to fear God and to respect him and to trust him, but we're also supposed to be real with him. Now, once again, David shows us that anger and frustration are not the only things that we express to God. David clearly ends up professing his trust in God and his reliance on God. But it's clear that David is being brutally honest with God. And with this, it's interesting to me that in Psalm 4, David says, verse 4, in your anger, says David, do not sin. I think that many Christians fall into the mindset that it's wrong to be angry, that it's wrong to be stressed out, that it's wrong to be frustrated or agitated. And this is simply not the case. And when we go to God and we don't bring him our stress, when we don't bring him our anger, our frustration, we're not being real with him. In the same way that when we don't bring our stress and our frustration and our anger to our spouses, we're not being real with them. Once again, obviously, we don't only want to bring God our anger and our stress. We should be giving him our thanks and our praise as well. But in Psalm 4, it is in his anger that David brings God his praise and his trust. In his distress, David expresses his true dwelling place. Psalm 4 invites us today to be real with God, to go to him in our anger, to go to him in our distress, to cry out to him because he is our God and we have a relationship with him. But I also want to ask us today, I want to invite you to ask yourself, is your anger, is your distress right now causing you to sin? Are you taking your anger, your distress out on your spouse, on your kids, on your roommates? Are you using stress as an excuse to do things and to act like you know you shouldn't? Today, I want to invite you to be stressed out, but do not sin. Be real with God, but also pray that God would give us strength, that in our anger, in our stress, in our agitation, in our impatience, and I know that many of us are experiencing these things right now, but that in all of these things, that we would not sin. After David expresses all of these things, he says at the end of Psalm 4, "In peace I will lie down in sleep." It's this authentic, real, honest relationship with God that brings David peace. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. People of God, may you dwell safely in God, and may the Lord be with you.